הכרתי טיפותיו של הגשם נקבות בתוכי יורדות מתחתיי והרוח קרה ונואשת הקפיאה אותי הכבידה עליי ולרגע יכולתי לקרוא
I want you to pretend that you went to a concert at the Xfinity Center or Great Woods or whatever. I don't want to sound like a boomer, but I'm just going to say Great Woods because that's what I still call it. With your buddies, and you're up there on the lawn, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you're watching whatever you're watching at Great Woods Xfinity Center, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, commandos show up behind you and slaughter dozens of your friends, scores of your friends. And then they stuff you in the back of a Jeep and hold you hostage for a year or so. That's what happened on October 7th, right? That's what happened on October 7th. So when we're talking about what happened last night in Boston, understand the people that protested last night in Boston wanted that slaughter at the music festival in Israel. They're in favor of that. They are pro-Hamas. They're terrorist sympathizers. So just to think again about that. You're at the Tweeter Center or whatever the hell they call it now, and all of your friends are mowed down by bullets. When you're watching whoever, Lollapalooza, whatever, and that's what happened in Israel. 1,200 people dead, 250 round numbers hostage, 48 hostages still in captivity, although only 20 are believed to be alive. That's what happened October 7th, 2 years ago. And understand that the knuckleheads that we saw last night causing trouble in downtown Boston were in favor of that slaughter that occurred October. They think that's great. They think that's great. That's who they are. You know, you hear this all the time from the governor and whatnot. This is who we are. By the way, great to have you here today. Thank you so much. I appreciate you reposting the stream. Very nice of you to do that. Thank you very much. And Angry Survivor says, boomer comment was rude, right? Yeah, we'll get to that. Yes, we will. So I'm John F. Gately. You can call me Jack, broadcasting to you from beautiful Plymouth, Massachusetts. Thanks for joining us today. Was able to do the show yesterday morning, and then the bulk of my day yesterday absolutely stunk, and I was behind schedule, and I didn't actually get to last night's protest until about 6:20, which in retrospect probably is a blessing in disguise, so I didn't have to listen to 45 minutes or whatever of communist garbage spewing from these people. And so when I got there, the march started shortly after. So in the big picture, it was an efficient use of my time, I guess. I want to give credit to a couple of people here for their statements relative to October 7th. Let's start with Michael Keneally right off the bat. Today, we remember the victims of October 7th attack on the innocent victims by Hamas. See my full statement below. And he gets into it. And then he says he stands firmly with our ally, Israel. All right, Mike Keneally has been very, very strong on this issue, no doubt about it. Here he is again. I believe this is also from yesterday. Yes, it is. America is burning, but that's how forests grow. Oh, we're going to get into that later, Michael. Don't you worry. Things happen, and we need to restore law and order and stand by our first responders is the response from Michael Keneally. It is that simple. As a pro-Palestine mob reportedly pepper sprays cop blocks Tremont Street. So I was right there. I didn't see the pepper spray, but nor did I sense it in the air. But it wouldn't surprise me if that did happen. But I was 20, 30 feet away from this whole kerfuffle, as Jim Browdy would call it. Mike Minogue, very upset about the police officers Wait, let's learn again. How do you say his name?
I'm Mike Minogue.
Mike Minogue. Okay, there we go. I'm Mike Minogue. Very upset about the police officers. Larry Calderon from the Patrolmen's Association, which by the way, I am super proud to tell you, my great grandfather helped found. That's him right there. He helped found the Boston Police Patrolmen's Association, or what eventually became, when he was a police officer in 1919 and lost his job in the strike. So, and that's why his picture's behind me. Legend. If these criminals are being paid or working for organizations that promote riots, track them down and hold them responsible. Do not let this grow. End it now. Well, I like that sentiment, Mr. Minogue, because that's exactly what I said yesterday, and that's what Rush Limbaugh taught me 30-something years ago. It must be ended. It's not going to end on its own. It must be ended. Excellent post from Mr. Minogue. Hold on. What's his name again? Hold on. What is it?
I'm Mike Minogue.
Mike Minogue. Okay. How many times should we play it again? Let's just play it again.
I'm Mike Minogue.
I'm Mike Minogue. Okay, we got it. We got to make that. He's got to make that commercial like Paul Songas did, where everyone mispronounced his name. By the way, since we're talking about Mike Minogue, and apparently he has hired former Massachusetts GOP chair Jennifer Nassour, to lead his fundraising team. That's interesting, because I kind of thought that Jennifer Nassour was, and I don't know her, so I could be wrong, but I kind of thought she was not a big Trump fan. Let's just put it that way. And I kind of thought that she was leaning Keneally. That's just, I could be totally wrong about that. But if I'm right about that, then that's a good get, because in any case, that's a good get, because it's a signal that a lot of the people on the inside think he's a winning candidate, or could be a winning candidate. Here are the terrorists in New York yesterday calling for more violence.
Did enough! The headline behind me would read, Gaza has been liberated. So our work is not done. We must show up. Stronger than we did the first October 7th. Louder than we did the first October 7th. To make it clear that we are not going anywhere. We will keep fighting until Palestine is free.
All right, I think we've heard enough. By the way, freedomnews.tv, excellent clip right there. Freedomnews.tv. John Featherston for the win in today's analysis. A democratic socialist is a communist who's just afraid to say it. Yes, and understand there is a huge communist thread, oppressor versus oppressed angle going through this. And there's also a huge, and one of the absolute weirdest protests I've been to this year was back in February, where I went to the Trans Tifa sponsored Palestine thingy. That was like totally freaky. Hey, and if you want to be an adult and be a freak, let your freak flag, fine. What do I care? But that protest was wild. But I have never, ever, ever seen anything as crazy as I saw this interview late last night that Nate Friedman conducted on the streets of New York, outside of Fox News. This is just absolutely wild. Let's
Can I interview
progress
you?
here. Hold on.
Oh, awesome. I know that I'm standing here today. At least 50% of the Gazan government needs to be trans women. Like Muhammad herself was in fact a trans lesbian.
What? Now, if you don't know Nate Friedman, you should absolutely positively be following Nate Friedman. So he finds this guy who says what?
I mean, I don't know about that, but I know that I'm standing here today. At least 50% of the Gazan government needs to be trans women. Like Muhammad herself was, in fact, a trans lesbian.
Wouldn't want to misgender Muhammad. And this goes on for 5 minutes. You have to watch this. Like at first you're watching it for the first 30 seconds and you're like, this is like a joke. This is like some type of comedy sketch or something like that. But apparently it is not a comedy sketch. This guy like really believes these people are real.
Muhammad was a woman?
Yeah, Islam is a trans idea. It's a trans religion. Muhammad herself was a proud trans lesbian.
In Iran, the morality police and also in Gaza, they kill trans people. Like, do you think that that's not true? Or
I mean, I think they're secretly Jews if they do that.
All right, it goes down a really weird rabbit hole from there. By the way, I don't even know what I can't keep track of. We got to stop using this word trans, by the way. We got to come up with a better descriptor. What could that be? I don't know. Trans is such a powerful word. If we were to come up with a different descriptor, I think we might actually need 2 words. If we were to stop using the word trans in our daily language, it's such a powerful word. We would need actually 2 words to replace it, I think. I have it. Man, woman. All right. If you don't know Nate Friedman, based out of New York, he's actually originally a Bostonian, if I'm not mistaken. Follow him, Nate Friedman 97 on X, and he's also does exceptional work on YouTube. So yesterday, I want to thank Mass Daily News for posting up the Flood Downtown Palestine rally, stupid thing that they hosted last night, because I figured they had something going on, but I didn't know when and where. But so thank you, Mass Daily News, for posting. And literally, these knuckleheads, they're trying to get people to their march. And so they show a police cruiser burning on their flyer, which their event started at 5:30. I told you I didn't get there till 6:20. This is what they stand for. They stand for burning police cars. That's what they stand for. We're going to get back to that burning for police car situation when we talk about Maura Healey later in this video. By the way, if you did not get to my feed from yesterday, you can also just go over to John F. Gately and subscribe for free. We have some photos over there, and we have the probably 4 money videos. Most of the videos you've probably already seen in the news. I just want you to hear this woman here. She is stuck. It's 30 seconds. She is stuck on Tremont Street trying to visit her boyfriend who's in a coma in the ICU. And this is the trauma that these pro-Hamas terrorists caused this woman.
I'm sorry, what's that, ma'am? Can I interview you?
My boyfriend is in a coma in the ICU, and I can't get there.
I'm so sorry, that's awful.
Not only that, but the only reason why these fuckheads are getting arrested is because they wouldn't move out of the way of an ambulance.
That's right, they wouldn't move.
I feel you for Palestine.
No, I'm not with them.
You're an American.
Yeah.
Like,
What hospital are you going? You going to Mass General? Tufts? Oh, well, I hope he feels better. I hope he's better. God bless you. And I hope he feels better. Thanks for being on my video.
God bless her. And I hope her night turned around and was better. Literally, she had to turn around. I've never seen this before, but the cops actually had all the blocked traffic back up on Tremont Street. And then they had to drive up Park Street. And then I lost track of her after that. But she used the appropriate term, fuckheads, because that's what they are. this woman here in the bottom video, this really hurt because I am not a boomer. I am almost 5 years younger than the boomers, and she called me.
Please don't take photos for people's
Amendment? Have you heard of distance? That's
From
all.
a distance,
I'll
please.
take it from whatever distance
People
I
are
want.
hurt. Please leave us alone.
Is that what you're doing? Administered first aid here?
Yes. Leave us.
Liars. They wouldn't be distributing, something to riot with, would they? And call it first aid?
Okay.
Leave
You
us
could have
alone.
just said that.
Please. People are hurt. I'm going to kindly ask you to stay back because people are hurt. They need their peace. They need to rest. Please leave. Please leave.
Well, this is a public street. You
Okay.
can't block it. Stay right there. That's great. I can stay wherever I want. You're blocking the street.
So she's doing a really good job of putting up this act. Please leave. Please leave.
Hospital's a public fucking place, else you wouldn't walk in while somebody's having surgery.
This is a public street in which you're now blocking.
Ow. Oh my God, you fucking boomers! Swear.
She called me a fucking boomer. You heard it. I am really offended. How am I ever going to come back from that? Right? So God knows what they were doing. God knows what they were doing, hiding behind the "we're giving first aid" bullshit. Because 60 seconds later, poof, they were gone. So it was quite clear to me that after they left the Embrace Monument, they walked by and they blocked access to the bridge over troubled water needle exchange, which actually closed down the open air drug market on Boston Common for a short time, which is more than Mayor Wu or Governor Healy has ever done to combat the open air drug market. This Hamas crowd walked right in front of the bridge of troubled waters and health caravan and blocked access to it. And so temporarily the open air drug market and the supply of needles was thwarted as as the Hamas crowd walked by. And then they got up to the head house at Tremont Street. The head house is the granite buildings for the MBTA, as some of you might know. And they decided to cross Tremont Street at the crosswalk, to their credit. And then they stopped into the middle of they stopped once they got, there was about 150 of them maybe. And once they stopped in the middle of the crosswalk, then all hell broke loose, as you saw in the longer video, which if you go to my stream or if you go to johnfgately.com, please subscribe for free. Or if you want to throw in a couple of pennies, that's fine too. But once they stopped there, clearly there were any number of people who wanted to cause trouble. 13 people got arrested. 4 cops got injured. And clearly they wanted a conflict. This event last night was for nothing else but to create a conflict. In fact, it didn't really last that long. There was the rally beforehand. Let's call that 45 minutes. And then there was the whole action. And that would make 45 minutes, an hour. Call it 2 hours. And then the whole poof, it was gone. Right? So understand that they didn't flood downtown. They had a strategic plan to make the news, to rally the proletariat. And that's the whole thing. They didn't really have the number. Now, the No Kings thing, which is October 18th, which I cannot go to. I have a family thing. That will be a lot of people, probably. But last night, it was a small scrum. Again, I'd say about 150 people or so last night, if I'm not mistaken. I just want to say that we have to remember, as we started the show appropriately, why they were there. They were there to celebrate and promote additional terrorist attacks. These folks are basically Hamas pro-terrorist organization in our midst. Great to be with you today. Thank you so much for reposting the post. And if you want to throw in a comment, I do check the comments over here to my right from time to time during the show. We'll try to bring up as many of your comments as I possibly can. So did you see this crazy thing last night? Just to shift gears slightly, talking about communists from AOC, where she body shamed.
I want to
Miller?
express my love for the Short King community.
The Short King community. Her love for the Short King community. Oh, make it stop. Make it stop.
Laugh at them. Stephen Miller is a clown. I've never seen that guy in real life, but he looks like he's like 4'10", and
he's 5'10", but he's to be fair, I mean, he's not a broad-shouldered guy. You know, he's not going to be playing linebacker at Notre Dame.
he looks like he is angry about the fact that he's 4'10". I don't believe in body shaming. I am talking about how big or small someone is on the inside. Like, for example, I have no idea how tall Andrew Tate is. No idea at all. But that guy looks to me like 5'3", like 5'3", 5'4". Whereas physically, men of smaller stature can come across. They are spiritually 6 foot. If you're a good dad, if you stand with women, if you're not belittling immigrants, you're like, 6'3" spiritually. I don't know. Am I being problematic? And
you're being problematic. Yes. Oh my God, that was so cringy. That is the cringiest thing I think I've ever seen. Or recently. Rephrase. That's the cringiest thing I've seen from AOC in a little while. That's for sure. That was pretty cringy. I think we can all agree. I wanted to also show you this post because this explains a lot about Massachusetts from my favorite economist, E.J. Antoni. Oh God, I hope I got Antoni. And thank you, Duncan Burns, for bringing this to my attention. Very hard graph to read, but basically it's a graph on government dependence through welfare programs and other transfers is exploding in blue states like Massachusetts. While red states like Tennessee see much slower growth and less dependence on government. So maybe we can break this a little bit bigger. Maybe not. Okay, maybe not. But effectively, maybe I can bring it. No, trust me when I tell you that this is, if you can see this chart, this is us way over here, Massachusetts. This is the middle of the chart. We are way over here. Way over here. In other words, basically, the Democrats are buying off boatloads of people. This is a classic United Kingdom strategy. In the United Kingdom, for like when they had the Labour governments when they were ruining the country back in the 70s, which they seem to be on a path to do so again, they would always dial up the government benefits as the elections came closer to pay people off, to systematically pay people off effectively. And that's exactly what they're doing right now. Bill says Massachusetts needs to pass a law outlaw protesting while masked. Feel free to express your First Amendment rights, but don't hide. That's an interesting concept. I don't know if I'm on board with that. Because Bill, I mean, first off, there is a huge problem with COVID, right? And we do need to do everything we can to combat the Wuhan virus, and I wouldn't want to place anybody at risk by forcing them not to wear a mask. So, and then there's the whole ICE can't wear masks BS that you have out in California and here in Massachusetts. So, you know what? I say wear whatever you want to wear. I'm a little bit leery of going down the road of having the government tell me what I can or cannot wear. Unless I'm like walking into a bank, right? Maybe no masks in the bank. Although there was just a couple of years ago when I was required to wear a mask in a bank like I was Jesse James. Funny how that happened. Marcus Wood, thank you. Do you think there were financed these protests last night? You know, I don't know. There had to be some money, definitely. These people have communications for sure. So getting back to how the protests flowed, there was the big kerfuffle where most of the people got arrested right in the middle of Tremont Street. Then the protesters edged towards Winter Street, but then they stopped. Then they merged back into Tremont Street for a couple of minutes. And then like I said last night, like a school of fish, then they all just turned around and walked right down Winter Street. So definitely they have some type of communications that must cost money. They're living in mom's basement, obviously. So somehow they're subsidized by something. I don't know. Good question for sure. Thank you, Jelly Bean. And thank you, US Jiggy. Getting jiggy with it, are we? All right, so you've heard me say a lot of nice things about a certain candidate's talent for creating video. Not that I agree with anything that this candidate says or does, but he's really talented with video. And I've been telling all of my friendly candidates out there, whether you're running for governor or housing authority, the best thing that you could do today, if you have not yet done it as a candidate, this is free political advice from Jack. That's probably worth, you could probably find a consultant to charge you thousands of dollars for this. You should sit down in your living room and you should watch Zohran for all day. Watch every video he's ever made. And then you should sit down and analytically figure out how he makes those videos. You've heard me say this before. And finally, it seems as if one candidate in Massachusetts, this is not an endorsement, but it seems as if one candidate in Massachusetts either heard me say that or they came up with the idea on their own. I don't know. But they employed one of Zohran's most effective tactics, which is not to be interviewed, but to do the interviewing. When the candidate is doing the interviewing, it flips the script and it invites a completely new dynamic where it gives voice to the public. And it's brilliant. It's one of the most important video formats you can do as a candidate in 2025 and 2026. And for the first time ever, maybe I've missed it, but for the first time ever, I saw Brian Shortsleeve do this yesterday. I saw Brian Shortsleeve do this yesterday, where he spoke to a young student who lives right at the intersection where the forest started to grow this past weekend. She was terrified when the police cruiser was torched on Sunday night. Well, I don't know why she would be terrorized, because obviously that's how forests grow. So I don't know why she was so upset. But here's the video where Shortsleeve interviews the college or young professional, we'll call her.
This is Brian Shortsleeve. I am at the corner of Tremont and Mass Ave. This is Juliet, who I just met.
All right, she's got a Houston Astros hat on, so, well, we'll let that pass.
Who lives in the neighborhood. She's a student. And you told me you were here the other night when the car was burnt down. What happened?
Yeah, I saw the whole thing. Over 100 people attacking this one police car that was in the intersection. He was trying to get out, didn't have anywhere to go, so he got out of
the
his
police
car.
officer was trying to get out?
Yeah.
How do you think he felt?
All right, like, a good question. And they got the subtitles here with the captions, right? Good jobs. Very Zohran-like.
Terrified. They had cars blocking the intersection so that he couldn't come out with.
Like the bad guys had cars blocking it.
Yeah.
Wow. What did you think about all this as a young student living in the South End?
I mean, it was really terrifying, and it got very violent, and I was watching it from my window. It was super, super close by, so it was just really scary to see something that crazy happening. And
Do you feel safe in the South End and in Boston?
I think this area is a little bit on the edge. There's a lot of times that I felt very unsafe. I live with my brothers. I have to call them a lot when I'm walking home. I finish class at 9:30 p.m. Yeah, overall, I think especially at nighttime, I don't feel very safe. There's some bad people out there, but yeah.
Well, I'm running for governor. I'm going to back the police and clean up the streets. How does that sound to you?
Great.
All right, awesome.
Oh, knuckle bump. Almost John Keller like knuckle bump at the end. All right, just joking there. But that's how it's done. That's how it's done. Very good job, Brian Shortsleeve. Very good job. That's how you do it. And if you really pay attention, that video is edited down to get rid of all the gaps, and it just kind of flows. Good editing job. All the things. Brian did a good job. Here's one piece of equipment that I'm going to suggest that you get. You can go on like eBay and you can get a mic thingy because your audio wasn't that good. Your audio wasn't that good. It looks as if you have a DJI microphone on your lapel, but you couldn't hear her as well. So DJI mics usually come in a pair. You buy this thing. It's printed 3D on eBay, and it goes right in there. It's made to receive this. It has a flag where you can put your little logo on it as your candidate. And, of course, it has the windscreen. Yeah. And now you'll get much better audio, Brian, the next time you do an interview, Zohran style. So good job, Brian Shortsleeve. That's what you need. If you don't have enough money to compete against the big guys, you can create content now. And if you're running against a Democrat incumbent, for instance, you can create content now that bubbles up and gets seen because you don't need a gazillion followers anymore. You can go viral with 5 followers. The variable of success is the quality of the content, which means from a relative point of view, the importance of money is declining and the importance of talent is going up. And not only in politics, but in everything, right? Whether it's real estate brokers or whatever. So yeah, food for thought there. Food for thought. And good job, Brian Shortsleeve, on that video. But by the way, that's free advice, free political advice. And no, I'm not looking to be for anyone's political, because I've done that before, and I was really good at it, but I wasn't liked because I if your video sucks, I'll tell you. If your presentations, like a lot of candidates didn't like me because if your speech sucked, I would tell you, right? If you picked out the wrong tie, I'd be like, why'd you pick that tie? Just no filter. I would just be like, yeah. So if you want absolutely unfiltered political advice, call me up. Otherwise, you're not. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear because I don't care about your feelings. If I'm working for you, all I want is to win, right? So, I didn't last that long as a political consultant. Most people consider Jack's a jerk. Well, yeah, because I'm just telling you how it is. I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. All right, Data Republican. Have you seen this video from this asshole, commie Piker, Hassan Piker, over last night? He has this dog in the background, and apparently, I don't watch Hassan Piker on a regular basis, but apparently the dog is a regular prop of Hassan Piker. And last night, or recently, this video surfaced. He shocks the dog with some type of behavioral correctional collar to get it to sit. This is absolute. We are not the same. You are exactly right, Data Republican. This is disgusting.
Of all of America's much more consequential violence, okay? It's the same reason as to why America Kaya, please just fucking go. Just stop.
Can you imagine doing that to your dog? He must have it dialed up to 11. And usually those things, if I'm not mistaken, I've never used one for my dog, but I'm pretty sure that that you're not supposed to use it on tiny little dogs like that. But like that's for like a German Shepherd or something. That's just my understanding.
Jesus Christ, what are you doing? You're being such a baby. It's just,
and that's my response. like these people are awful. We are not the same, no doubt about it. Unbelievable. Yeah, like you can't make this up. I already covered that story. Let's go on to the next one. So let's talk about the media for a minute here. And I am getting a couple of messages about that post I sent out about John Keller last night. So I'm walking up Winter Street back towards the cops because there was like hardly any cops down at Downtown Crossing at the corner of Washington, Summer and Winter. Very few cops down there. And that's where most of Antifa dipped into, or pro-Palestine, whoever they were, you know the thing. And I think they all escaped into the subway, I tell you the truth, because they just kind of poofed, gone. And there weren't many cops down there. There was like 5. And I was like, maybe I'll walk back up Winter. So I'm walking back up Winter Street, and I see Andrea from WBZ in my mentions. And I'm like, no. And then, like, literally without thinking much about it, I wrote that additional thing about John Keller, which I don't regret, right? And that just kind of exploded. But because, as you might have known, if you watch this show at all, you know that like half the show is a critique of the media, right? Half the show is the critique of the media. So I'm glad that you folks got a kick out of that post about John Keller. I got a kick out of it too, and I loved your responses and comments. That was a lot of fun, but again, it was a serious event and a serious night and a serious anniversary, and that's why we're talking about it. But as a side note, and I think it is only a side note, I did enjoy your feedback on that. But look at the media today. State House News Service. This whole thing occurred in the shadow of the State House. They have no story on it. If we were to look at the master list, which is written by the State House News Service in their morning report, I don't think they have anything on it. They talk about Brian Golden running for something in Newton. And then they go on, blah. Oh, Maura Healey is holding a press conference today at 11:30 to address the illegal car meetups taking place across the state. There's actually a pre-article that she leaked everything to the Globe in the Globe today, but she's having a press conference for everybody else. Nowhere do I see a story about the arrest. Maybe it's buried in there somewhere. I don't know. And then if you went over to the responses to the old hi there, can WBZ have permission to use your video? I thought this was the best response. Laugh out loud. The Question Everything station questions everything except Hunter's laptop, Joe's dementia, fake insurrection, COVID vaccine injuries. Legacy media is on life support. X is pulling the plug. Thank you, need a name. Exceptional. That was kind of like the sentiment when I wrote fuck John Keller. That was kind of my sentiment. So good job, need a name, for posting that up. If you go over to, for instance, Boston.com this morning, I don't see the story over at Boston.com. Isn't that interesting? Literally, it's called Boston.com. You would think if 13 people got arrested in downtown, Boston.com, they'd cover it as a top story at Boston. No, they don't. No, they don't. Meanwhile, this story really it makes me happy. For some of you who don't know, but like over at how do I get to it here? Over here on my Twitter bio, right, where I say local trusted, jack8lee.com, I ripped this off from WGBH because they had a billboard on the side of their building that said local trusted and defunded. So I wrote local trusted Jack 8 Lee. And so now GBH is launching a $225 million campaign as federal funding is cut off. So here on their building the other day, a couple of months ago, they wrote local trusted and defunded. So now they have a billboard. Go fund yourself. Yeah, go fund yourself. See if this works. See if there's an audience. If there's an audience that supports your content, well, then God bless you. Good for you. But don't have us fund you through our tax dollars. No, enough of that. So yeah, go fund yourself, GBH. Go fund yourself. Exactly. And here's the video from the honcho over at GBH. And
Congress has a time when communities crave connection and facts are being called into question. GBH is stepping up, protecting independent journalism and making.
Oh, they're protecting independent journalism. Really? They are protecting independent journalism? This is the chief honcho at WGBH. Listen to this lie.
Question. GBH is stepping up, protecting independent journalism and making trusted and educational content accessible to everyone.
GBH is protecting individual journalism. Tori Bedford works for GBH. She said that bringing your camera down to Mass and Cass was like bringing a weapon down to Mass and Cass, right? Right. It wasn't that long ago where Tori Bradford basically said that if you go and make a, walking tour of Mass and Cass, it's like bringing a weapon. And that I didn't ask for anybody's permission. There's me at Mass and Cass with my little camera in my hand. Yo, Tori Bedford, Tori Bedford. I'm at Mass and Cass with my weapon, and I'm not asking for anyone's permission. By the way, I did get requests from any number of media outlets to borrow my or use my footage, and I said no to them all. I kind of wish there was one national and several locals. I said no to all the locals. I think I probably should have said yes to one of the locals, but I didn't. And I didn't even respond to the national one that asked me. And I have said yes in the past, but I was just after the whole Andrea BZ thing, I was like, no, not worth my time. And if you, as a news station, WBZ or State House News Service or whatever, if you want to use the footage, go get your own footage, because X is now the news. Your old news. Your old news. And your fake news at the same time. So go get your own footage, BZ. Some reporter from Channel 5 also, I was sitting on a stone there by Park Street Station. Some reporter from Channel 5, very nice, very nice. I want to say she was very nice. I was typing something, so she interrupted me, but otherwise I didn't catch her name. But very nice. She asked me if I wanted to be interviewed for her. I was like, no, thank you. But our interaction was nice and pleasant, and I was clearly busy typing some. I was getting my story out to you, and she's like interrupting me. But I was like, no, thank you. Yeah, I'm not providing content for my competitors. No way. By the way, thank you so much for the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that are joining us this morning. If you had any doubt we are way over. We're way over 800 people. Wow, that's a lot more than normal. Thank you very much. I can't believe anybody turns in to watch this. Even my wife doesn't watch, but you watch, so that means a lot to me. Thank you. And I really think also, before we go on to this Mayor Wu story, who's watching this broadcast has always been way more important to me than the number, because I really think we have super influential people, and by influential, I mean grassroots people, conservatives in Massachusetts. That's who watch this. And oh, by the way, a lot of the lefties watch it. They're secretly watching me on the train right now. It's true, right? So it's the influence that this show has through you, the audience, which is important to me, not the gross number. Mayor Wu, Boston Mayor Wu to headline the No Kings protest amid sanctuary battle with feds. Well, this is like maybe the least surprising story. And again, I cannot cover this. I will be out in the Happy Valley. It's Parents' Weekend, and that's where I'll be. In the meantime, insanity continues on Beacon Hill, where we're going to be installing Narcan. They're considering Narcan at all the MBTA stations. What could go wrong? Let's give out the needles. Let's not enforce the law. And then if you OD, we'll have the antidote at every MBTA station. And of course, what's going to happen is all these vending machines, or however they're going to do it, they're all going to get vandalized. The contractor for the vending machines is going to go to some political campaign donor. You know it. And it's going to be a disaster. And hanging around the vending machines will all be the addicts, because heaven forbid they overdose. They want to be nearby the Narcan. You know the thing. These vending machines to deliver the Narcan, or however they're going to have it delivered, whether it's going to be the guy in the booth, right, has it, wherever the Narcan is, that'll be a magnet for addicts. This is the stupid, we should have a segment called the stupid idea of the day, because we had one yesterday, right? What was we had a stupid idea of the day yesterday. This is the stupid idea of the day today, but by far, no doubt about it. Governor Healy slams Boston street takeover. So when she's not busy running against Trump, because she can't run against Minogue, Shortsleeve, and Keneally, or Maura Keneally, she can't run against them on the merits, because she's obviously running against Trump, right? And so instead of running against Trump today, she's running against burning police cruisers. This is a really brave stance by Maura Healy, because what you're looking at here is a forest growing right in the middle of Tremont Street at the corner of Mass Ave and Tremont. A new forest on Sunday night just started to spurt up. And now Maura Healy is declaring that she is against green forest. I thought she was pro-environment, but now she's seemingly against growing forests. And she is coming out today. The story is already in the Globe, and she's going to have a press conference at 11:30 in the governor's lobby, blasting the burning of police cruisers. Because, there's a majority of people that are in favor of burning police cruisers. And this is a tremendously brave position for Maura Healy, because, I think there's like 72% of Massachusetts voters are in favor of burning police cruisers. And so this is a very brave position for her to take, coming out against the burning of police cruisers. I am so proud of Maura Healy. All right. Sarcasm aside, if you were running for governor today, all right, class, this is the question. This is the quiz. If you were running for governor today, you're one of the 3 people running for governor as a Republican, where should you be at 11:30 today? Where should you be at 11:30 today? When the governor is holding a press conference in the governor's lobby, where should you be? Anyone? Bueller? Anyone? It's not hard. You should be standing outside of the governor's office. If you're Brian Shortsleeve or Mike Keneally or Michael Minogue, get your down to the State House, go up to the third floor, and when she's done with the press conference, these lazy people from the media are going to walk out of the governor's office. And then they're going to see you. And say what you will about the media, but they love conflict. They love conflict. And you have all your public safety talking points ready, and now you too can be on the news. They are not going to go track you down. You have to make it easy for these people. They're lazy. They're lazy. So you have to go to them. Go right outside the governor's office and make your own statement, do your own interview, also record it and post it up to all your socials. All three of you go and do it separately as far as I'm concerned. Because when they walk out of that governor's press conference, they're going to interview you and you'll be on the nightly news. This is so basic. I'm not sure. Out of the three, I really don't know who has the testicular fortitude to do that. And B, I don't know who has the talent to do that. It seems to me as if Brian Shortsleeve might have the talent to do that. But we'll see. We'll see if Brian Shortsleeve has talent to do that. And we don't know about Michael Minogue because you got to start to drop some real videos. Campaign video is nice and the announcement video is great, but that's a TV commercial. And you've got to start making, dare I say it, videos like Shortsleeve. You've got to start letting people know you. Right? And so we don't know whether Minogue has any talent in front of the camera. Is an X factor. Almost anyone can look good in a campaign video, which obviously they spent a boatload of money to produce and is very well done. But what are you like on your feet? I think Michael Keneally is a good speaker in front of a group. What's he like in a crowd? Not so much. Right? There's different levels of political talent. Right? Amongst other things, there's money, speak in front of a crowd, speak, work a room. There's different skill sets. I wonder who could pull that off. If I was Brian Shortsleeve, he seems as if he has some talent. I would do that. That's my advice to all three candidates. Get your butt down to the State House and show this woman up. Right? Fact check her. You might even be able to listen to what she has to say and then go right back outside on the third floor and refute everything she says. You might be able to do that. Try it. What do you've got to lose? All right. I want to just give some credit to Contrarian Boston because they have somewhere over here, and I'm not going to bring up the article, they have at least two stories. One refuting the whole Mayor Wu safest city in America thingy, and which is a lie. And then they also have a story refuting the number of housing starts in Massachusetts and in Boston. Apparently, Contrarian Boston has looked at the data and found out that Mayor Wu was using housing starts that started during the Walsh administration and the short-lived Janey administration to boost up her numbers. And apparently there's some strong suspicion that Maura Healey is also fudging the housing start numbers. I know it's hard to believe, but yeah, it's hard to believe that they would tell a lie that could be verifiably checked, but the Boston media just eats it, hook, line, and sinker. right, John Keller? That would be really hard to believe. Here is Lance Lambert, who's my favorite. He runs this website called Resi Club, and it is like $300 a year, so I'm not saying you should sign up for it. But he is by far the best national expert, completely without an axe to grind, just looking at the numbers on real estate, residential real estate values in the United States. And obviously, that's my business. Here is Boston here. From 23 to 24, from August 23 to August 24, our values increased by 5.6%. From August 24 to August 25, our values increased by 1%, which is now, that's less than the rate of inflation, right? So theoretically, compared to inflation, your home value lost value relative to inflation over the last calendar year in Boston. Your investment in your home did not keep pace with inflation over the last year. Ooh, that is big. You would need to be up here, say like in Philadelphia or even in New York City. I'm going to just say inflation's 3%. At least that's what the government is willing to admit. You would need to be up here. And it's interesting whose values are staying up. Philly, Milwaukee, Chicago, and then a bunch of what I'm going to just call secondary cities: Louisville, Buffalo, Detroit, Hartford, and Cleveland. Their values are going up. And I think the reason why this top of the chart, the top 5, Louisville, Buffalo, Detroit, Hartford, Cleveland, why are those cities maintaining their appreciation rates? And I think it's because people are flocking to those cheaper cities. And yeah, you know the thing. It's just supply and demand. And they're getting out of the big expensive metros and going to these secondary cities where there's more, it's easier, it's cheaper to live. It's cheaper to live. There's no doubt about it. All right, let's see if we have any more newsflash. Woo lies. Newsflash. Film at 11, Jane. Phrase of the day, testicular fortitude. Yes. There's not much in our constitutional officers here in Massachusetts, is there? Where did I get that phrase? I believe Gene Burns, the old radio talk show host. I believe I stole it from Gene Burns, from the old radio talk show host, if I'm not mistaken. Moose's mom, absolutely. The candidates should be camped out at the State House for snapshots and sound bites. Well, I wouldn't say this on a daily basis, but literally the governor is going to have a press conference today where she comes out against growing forests. And this is a perfect opportunity to call her out on her record, right? So she hates trees, and it's clear. So she should be up there. People should be up there making that clear. And I think no better persons to do it than the gubernatorial candidates from the Mass GOP. And it would be great to see Mike Minogue in action, right? And I'm eager to meet him in person. And but the jury's out, because so far right now, he's running a 30,000-foot campaign, and the next big thing on the agenda is the caucuses, or the cockeye, as I like to call them, in February, which will elect delegates to the state convention. And that's coming a lot sooner than you think. All right, it's been great to be with you today. We are at our hour. I have to go, make some money and that type of thing. In the meantime, johnfgately.com, subscribe, and you have a blessed and great day. God bless you. God bless America. We'll see you again tomorrow at 8 a.m. Bye-bye.